Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we are reviewing the Yeti 85 ice bucket. Let's go ahead over to the product and I'll explain what we got going on.
Alright guys, so right here we have the 85 ice bucket, and we've also got one of the Yeti buckets for a size comparison and also something else. Now right here you can see we've got our canopy, we've got our grills. We're going to be doing some grilling today, and this is kind of a normal usage thing. Now honestly, my expectations of this thing are womp womp. I really don't see this thing being a valuable product. For all the things that are Yeti, if you guys see my prior video, you guys know I have a massive Yeti collection. This is recently added to it, but I have low hopes for this one. Now, there is a 40 or 45, I believe it is, along with the 85. I found the 85, I wanted the bigger one. But right now, we have 68 pounds of ice. As well as a entire 30 pack of Miller Lite in there. This has been sitting for about a half hour, and I kind of have it all layered, but you guys can already see the ice is getting a little wet. We definitely have some melting. Now you can see there is a little bit of sunlight hitting it, but it's not too bad. The temperature is only about 70 degrees out right now. So I am going to update this throughout the day and see what it does, because like I said, we're going to be doing some grilling. We do got the canopy up, and this is a normal, you know, usage. If a consumer buys this product, this is most likely how it's going to actually be used, so I really want to advertise it as such. Now they do make a lid for these sold separately, which is kind of similar to how they have the lids for the Yeti buckets. You know, same thing, you can buy the bucket for 40 bucks, and then for $30 you can buy the lid. For me, with my purposes, I do need a lid because I have multiples of the buckets, and I do tree work, and I have tree gear inside of the buckets, and it does need to stay, you know, sealed. But for this, you know, they say that you can drop a keg in here. They say that you can put a whole bunch of beers in here, you know, cans or whatever and such like that. But the thing is, do you really want it to be left open, or do you need the lid? And if you need the lid, then I would assume that this is a failed product, because the lid was something that was made afterwards, because I think they realized that this wasn't really all that good. Now, this is insulated in the double wall and everything that Yeti's known for, but just keep in mind, this big, as I would call it, a bathtub, is $250 as it sits just like this. The lid, I actually don't know. I'm going to look that up online, and I'll include an image now. So that's how much it would cost to add the lid to this. So, you know, it does get kind of pricey overall. Now, like I said, it is nice. It is a nice Yeti product. You got your sticker on both sides. You got your Yeti, you know, right here. You got it on the bottom. You also do have a drain plug, which is a very nice feature, because you guys know this would probably get really, really heavy. And then we do have our handles here, which part of me wishes they were a little bit longer, just for, you know, if someone has to pick this up by themselves. But I guess if it's fully loaded, you probably will have help. So again, here's a look. Now granted, throughout the day we are going to be losing beers in here, but the idea is to see basically at the end of the day how much water comes out and how well the ice handles. So we're going to update this. So I'm going to pause the video here. It's going to be a couple hours for me, but it's going to be 2 seconds for you. So we'll be back in a second.
Alright guys, so here we are actually 3 hours later, and aside from the fact that there's a few beers missing, which, hey, while I'm at it actually seems to be holding up pretty well. Shockingly, the ice is still in there. It's a little wet, but I mean, you guys can see that the sun has shifted, and there is actually more of a direct sunlight on it, and it is working pretty well. So right now what I actually want to do is I'm going to undo this drain plug and see how much comes out, which wow, that's actually quite a bit. Look at that go. Huh. So we did lose a lot of ice, and it's still going.
It just keeps on going. So, the ice lossage has been substantial, I would say. I'm going to go ahead and plug this back up now. My dog hates motorcycles. So, I mean, even after draining it that little bit, I mean, it still is, you know, pretty full. So I guess it's not all that bad, but I mean, you guys can see the spillage here. It's definitely did lose quite a bit, but I mean, it's still holding up and the beer's still cold. So I guess we'll see what happens once we actually start the barbecuing. All right, guys, so we are at about 6 hours later. We finally got the grill going. As you guys can see, we are hitting a high temp there. But anyway, you guys can tell the ice has definitely went down. Before we were up here all the way topped off flush with this line, and you're definitely sinking. Now the stuff is still cold, so it's definitely doing its job, and by no means am I expecting this to last like days like a cooler would. So to be honest, I guess you could say I am actually shocked that all of the ice isn't totally gone yet. And I guess I can't say it's really going fast either. I mean, there's still layers of ice, but I'm sure there's definitely, you know, a lot of water that would come out of this. But I think as of right now, I'll leave the water in, and then I will drain it towards the end of the video, because at least the cold water will still kind of help with this. So that's where we're at with that so far. 6 hours, and you know, we've had it out since early this morning. And I mean, it's doing its job. It's still keeping everything cold, so maybe I'll be surprised. We'll actually get a day's usage out of it, and maybe it'll actually be worth it. All right, guys, so the day is basically over, and we had our dinner that we had on the grill and everything. So I'm going to show you guys the bucket now and give my final thoughts. All right, guys, so we still have about 75% of the case left over in here still. You can see right here is where we had initially started. We've gotten down to about here. You know, but this has actually been out in sunlight all day, and this is still cold. I'd still drink it. Definitely happy with that. And again, there's still ice. So let's go ahead over here and check the drain plug. Not a whole lot. So that's definitely not a lot to lose. It's not coming out fast. It's only a little bit. So there is still quite a bit of ice in here. So I guess this product actually works. So initially I was a little bit skeptical on it, just because of the fact that it's a $250 bucket and I really didn't see any value in it. But after today and actually putting it to the test, it would appear that I'm wrong. Now, we had some ice loss. There was definitely some ice loss. I think next time around, I would probably put a Yeti ice or just a regular thing of ice, you know, an ice pack on the bottom of it to kind of pre-chill and help keep the temperature of the actual ice going into it. But overall, we only lost about a quarter of the ice that actually had melted. So realistically, that's, from what I would say, isn't bad. Now, should you spend $250 on this versus spending $200, $250, $300, $400 on a cooler? My bet would still be that I would still go the cooler route. Because one, when you do a cooler, which you can do the 45s, the 65s, you know, whatever, you can get them where they got the handles and the wheels. You have the lid that's already included. They still have the drain plugs. If you do like the $200 Roadie, you don't have a drain plug, and it's definitely not going to hold as much as something like this does. So you want something that's going to be compatible or comparable with this. But I mean, I guess if you got the space and you got the money to blow on it, then overall it really ain't bad. It actually did perform the way it was said to perform. And overall, I'm shocked. I was really thinking this was something that I would have to turn around and spend the extra $50 to get the lid for. But
but I don't think I'm going to. I think this actually did do its job. Now, depending on if you're buying ice or if you have an ice maker, you know, I went out and I spent $11 on ice, so you know, it wasn't too bad. I got you know, 68 pounds of ice for 11 bucks, so it wasn't too bad. And it's lasted the whole day, and it's probably going to stay in there until tomorrow morning, so not bad. You know, again, $2.50 for it, kind of steepish, I guess, but depending on what your purpose is going to be with it, it might not be that bad of a product. So I do want to thank everybody for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Consider subscribing, because we will be doing some more Yeti reviews. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.
The apocalypse.